Matchweek 9 results and Haaland back on the score sheet. Scruffed
Don't
it
care.
1-0.
Don't care.
Should have had a few more as well.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, yeah,
crap.
yeah. Agreed.
Overrated.
And Chelsea, Cole Palmer.
I mean, of course, right? These boys must be getting sick of it every single week.
Sick of
But
it
last
last
week,
year.
he turns at that pass through,
Yeah.
like, oh, God, just ridiculous. Like, it's his all round game. Like, I'm lost for words. Like, it's fantastic to watch. His goal. I mean, he was unlucky with the offside one as well. But the whole team actually, I think, played pretty well. We had a little spell at the end where Newcastle put us under pressure, and there was he scored their goal. But in general, it was a really good performance. You can really see what he's trying to do, and the way we're playing out from the back. Sanchez is iffy. Like no Chelsea fans happy with the way Sanchez passes, but when he does manage to pass it to his man, which for some reason he finds impossibly difficult, we actually build out from the back really nicely, quickly. Everyone knows where the players are. Like they'll just hit a pass and they'll know that a player will be there. They don't even need to check, and the man will be there. It just feels so much better to last season, the way we're playing and everything. Jackson has been on fire again. He had a really good game. Link up play, took his goal well. And his connection with Cole Palmer is good. So yeah, all positives really from the weekend, bar the refereeing performance.
Um, just on Palmer, right? I was thinking about it after, like, I watched the highlights and that. There's no way we'd see this Cole Palmer like the way he is at City. They would have strangled, like, stifled
Yeah,
him.
no chance. Yeah.
Like the freedom he has to roam and that creativity, like he needed that role. Like at City, he would have been awful, I think, or not awful, but he wouldn't have
Not
been
the
Have a
this
same.
couple of
awful.
Premier League trophies, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but as an Arsenal fan, like you guys
As,
love
as,
like the
as a
style of
football
football.
fan, I'm glad he's
Yeah,
at Chelsea expressing himself because he is a joy to watch. He's fucking
yeah,
excellent.
yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
And there's not many of those players in the game. We said this
There's
before,
none.
but
There's hardly
because of
any.
the overcoaching of players and it being so rigid and football being such a percentage game, you don't get that sort of freedom a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
for Enzo, who is a manager of that ilk, to say, you know what, I'm going to build a system around you essentially in that 10 role, and you can have that freedom still is
Yeah,
fantastic. So
I think
I
that's
was worried
brilliant.
he wasn't going to do that, and I think it's paying dividends. It's showing that you can still have these sorts of players in the modern day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
heard Maresca's, been admiring Amarin a lot, and how he handles it. Just throw them out there.
Well, moving on to Man United. Disappointing loss against West Ham. Like I said,
Well,
should have
it,
they should have been up 4-5-0 in the first half.
what you know? What's worse than being a bad manager? Being an unlucky manager. All right, and if you're both, then you got no chance. But it was just dreadful. They can go on about missed chances, but it's just Ten Hag is out of luck. He was going to go eventually. I think it just sums it up. Really sums it up. We're just crap.
That
I don't
penalty
know.
decision.
That
Let me check
penalty, yeah,
let me check the encyclopedia. We're crap. Like, yeah, we played well for 45 minutes, but what's the point of playing well if you're not going to bloody get the result?
you can't score. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. You know, we've spent enough to buy my hometown, every single house, and we still can't bloody score. 8 goals in 9 games. 8 goals in 9 games. That's what we've done.
Yeah, that's
Flipping
poor.
it.
That
You
that
know,
that is poor for Man United, but it's
it's poor for Luton. It's poor for any team. It's like shocking. And yeah, we look like, for 45 minutes. Yeah, we look good, but no, we just a game's 100 minutes nowadays. Playing for 45 minutes, you're not going to win it. So, and then you look at, without being funny, you look at all the other teams. Like, I'm not just talking about the top 3 or 4, like the Chelsea, Spurs. I know Spurs lost, but you see all the, at least there's a methodology. We don't even have it's like 11 players don't know each other. It's like putting
mm,
your jumpers for goalposts. So we're dog shit.
yeah. And
That's
then
it.
onto the big game. Arsenal Liverpool. Piercy Field, you've dropped 2 points.
Um, if we'd been full strength, Probably, yeah. Because let's have it right, the traditional big six don't get a sniff off us these days. I think City haven't beat us in 5 games, Chelsea haven't beat us in 5 games, Spurs ain't beat us in 5 games, Liverpool haven't beat us in 5 games. I don't even know about United, probably more. And we beat Liverpool at home last 2 seasons. I mean, going into it, I didn't feel confident at all because although Arteta was being very cagey about injuries, which I think he learned from Pep, I didn't think Saka would be fit or Timber. So I was thinking, repeated the Bournemouth lineup, Sterling out wide, Marino, Partey and Rice in midfield, which I didn't like, and then a makeshift back four because obviously Saliba was suspended. Calafiori's injured. So yeah,
Gabriel.
But as Van Dijk said, you had 2 injuries, right? And then a self-inflicted red card.
Yeah, fine. But what I'd say is, we started the game with an 11 that I thought was capable. Saka was in, Timber was in, which I was really pleased to see because I think Timber's been outstanding.
Saka was quality as well.
He was brilliant.
He was
that
brilliant.
goal was like, and do you know what? I watched Ben White. Usually those balls have to go quickly, and he stood. He had his foot on the ball, and he took about a minute, and then just went, "All right, go on then." And the defender had no chance. And Saka's gone to a level now where, a couple of seasons ago, defenders or teams knew that they had to double up on him. And that sort of, you think, okay, how's he going to get around that now? Because that's how teams go. They double up on him every time. Now he seems to have evolved to a point where it doesn't matter if you double up on him. He will find a way through. He is unbelievable. And I'm not just saying it, in the flesh, because where we are in our box, we're on top of that corner where he ran in on his side, on the right side. And he's so impressive in the flesh. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you ever got to see Wayne Rooney in the flesh. Like, it doesn't do it injustice on telly. Like, when you saw Wayne Rooney pick the ball up and drive, you could tell he was a level above everyone else. But yeah, Saka was really good considering he's not played for a couple of weeks. And I do agree. We really starting 11. We did only have a couple of injuries, and I thought that 11 was good enough to win it. And I thought we controlled the game for the most part. We were better than Liverpool, but then Gabriel goes down injured. Timber goes off with a bit of cramp. You've got Partey at right back. You've got Ben White and Kiwior at centre half, and then you've got an 18-year-old at left back. We pushed for a third, committed too many men up. Kiwior made a wrong decision, tracking back, didn't follow his man. And if Gabriel and Saliba are back there, I think we go on and win that game. And I was angry to begin with. And I'll tell you a quick story about the game. Like I say, we was in a box, so I'm on the very front row, and in the box next to us, when Liverpool scored, they had one big fat bloke in there that was obviously a massive Liverpool fan, Scouser. He went mental, like squealing like a pig. Do you know he looked like I don't know if you ever see, Google him, maybe get a picture of him up on the when you edit this. L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who started Scientology, fat toad looking bloke. And it really annoyed me because he was going mental. And I went, mate, fuck off. Like, someone get him out of here. So anyway, me and my friend Mark were sitting at the front, and neither of us communicated this or planned it. And it was really embarrassing. When we thought we got the winner, instinctively, we both went, both ran over to this bloke going mental. Looked, it had been disallowed, and then looked, and the bloke had been moved, and it was just this woman just sat there looking up. We were just but it was just instinctive. Like it really
brilliant.
Yeah, it was really.
Did you not hear the whistle?
No, we went mental.
They're buzzing, right?
We thought we'd won it late on, but look, Anthony Taylor's one of the worst refs in the league, and when it's fresh, I always feel like a bit of a victim as an Arsenal fan, and I know it's annoying, but
never noticed that.
The league's out to get up.
Could have fooled me.
But what I will say is that I stand by the fact that I think City get ref differently to everyone else, but I think it's just incompetence across the board. Because when you look at the Man United game, that was never a fucking penalty, and I think. Hopefully it comes up in the wash, and I think other teams do get stitched up because it is just bad. It's just a poor level, and it's a little club. They all back each other. I've said it before about it's similar to the Catholic Church. They make a mistake, right? Move them to that parish. Move them to that parish. Give them a weekend off. I think it's just incompetence more than anything.
I mean, Wolves have had their fair share of bad decisions.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
have. A lot of teams.
Every team's had
Yeah,
at
but
some point.
I do feel like
I
the
think,
50
but I think the
decisions
only
never
one
go
was
our way.
the Van Dijk. The only one was the Van. I agree with the Van Dijk one. He should have been sent off for that. But I think
They
otherwise,
didn't even look at it, and it's. But I mean, like you
yeah,
go back a season or two, Liverpool. Do you remember that Spurs game where he was onside and they
Yeah.
disallowed the goal?
Yeah.
You're hyper focused when it's your own team, and I felt hard done by. But now, given a bit of once I've had a bit of distance, once it's good job we don't do these 30 minutes after a game. I'm fucking.
I wish we did.
I'm
I
like a
wish we did.
psychopath. But do you know what? I'm encouraged because we had a second string team out, and the officiating is terrible.
Second string team.
You've got
Going back
it
to
wasn't second string.
going
It's
back
two
to what
injuries.
George said,
It's
two-
a discredit to Liverpool as well to say that you had a second string team out because Liverpool they came back into the game and did well in the second half.
Salah did what Salah does.
Mate,
Right?
our back four was Thomas
In the end,
Partey
it was a
at
fair
right back,
result.
Ben White at centre half, Kivior at centre half, and
Yeah,
an
but
18-year-old. That's
Piers,
how
you had no injuries last year. You had two injuries. You had two injuries during the game. Okay, that's unlucky, but it's not like you're plagued by injury. Last season, you looked.
Odegaard's
Man
been out
United
for
had
most
like
of the
10
campaign,
injuries.
and
We
he's
had
our
10
captain
injuries.
and key playmaker. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a big.
it's a big loss, but this happens in a spell, and you've got City are missing Rodri and De Bruyne. They're two best centre.
I mean,
They're
that
two
City,
best midfielders.
City have got a B team that's every player's worth 90 million.
Yeah, but
pounds.
that's what you need to compete.
If you had to play Liverpool and Cole Palmer was out and you had a makeshift back four and you've
Wasn't he
got
crap while he was on the pitch?
you'd mention it. I'm not making excuses because I think we could have won the game if we had if we were a bit more sort of streetwise with it. We committed too many people forward, and I think, like I say, I don't think it's outlandish to say if Saliba and Gabriel were there, as you've seen us do this season loads of times, we just shut up shop at 2-1 and we win the game.
I'd agree. I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's
not
a fair
that
point.
far-fetched, is it?
It's
That's not far-fetched.
it is a fair point,
just
but you're going to have to face that.
Yeah,
Just
and I don't think you can ever feel sorry for yourself at this level because that's what you've got a squad for. You can't ever sit there and go, "Oh, poor me," and blame injuries. And you don't hear it from Arteta. To be fair, he doesn't blame injuries. He never complains about playing Thursday night, Sunday night, or whatever. He gets on with it. And Ten Hag's just gone.
He does love a fucking moan, though.
Yeah, he moans about other things, but I guess look, my overriding point is we might be third. We might be 5 points behind City. I think 3 or 4 behind Liverpool. But it's so early on in the season. We've had a very, very tough start to the campaign in terms of fixtures.
Yeah.
I'm not too disheartened. I think we're better than we were last year. We've played out of the 9 games. We played 3 with 10 men. Odegaard's been out. Saka's been out in periods. I think we will. If we'd lost the game, I'd probably feel different now. But coming away from it, having a bit of distance from it, I think we'll be right up there. And I think if we beat City at home, we'll win the league.
No,
Yes,
you're talking about being right up there, and we haven't talked about Liverpool. They beat Chelsea, they beat Leipzig, drew away to Arsenal. Can they still fight for that title?
Well, they're in it.
They'll be up there, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
they can.
I've not been as I do think Arsenal, Man City are better than Liverpool.
But I've not been impressed with Arsenal this season. I don't think there's been one game where I've watched Arsenal and thought you were mustard that game.
Well, we've either been playing a horrible team away from home, like Spurs or Villa or City, or we've
Well,
been
what about
down
like
to
Leicester or Southampton at home? You didn't blow them away.
We won the game.
Yeah,
Won
but
both.
you say you're not that impressed by Liverpool. I don't think, and you said Arsenal have been, better than last season. I don't know if you necessarily have been. I think you've done what you needed to in those games, but I wouldn't say I've been blown away by you. So, in that sense, I think Liverpool are as much in the bag as Arsenal are.
And even with City, right? Since Rodri's gone,
Same for City, yeah.
Good either.
A different question.
Right. I mean, Liverpool and City, I think, have had better run-ins than us, and Liverpool got beat at home by Forest. They've had a couple of games where they've won by a goal, where it's been a little bit touch and go. I don't think City have had loads of games already where they've gone 1 behind and then gone on to win. But
I think nobody's standing out.
I think.
What I'm saying is, I still think City and Arsenal are the best 2 teams in the league.
Okay.
I'll probably
Piers, just a question. Would about Saka, right? Like singing his praises. Would he get into like the great teams of Arsenal, like in the Premier League, because football didn't exist before Premier League? But would he get into those teams on the right hand side? Because you had Pires on the left, right? You had Freddie Ljungberg on the right, was it? Would you have Saka in those teams?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably one
In
of the
the first
few.
11.
Yeah, he's probably one of the few that gets in. I mean, the numbers he's put up. I think he's a young. That was his 50th Premier League goal. He's 23. It's not bad going, is it? I mean, like you've got to remember, like he's been carrying this team on his shoulders since he was about 18. Like he's been our best player for like 3 or 4 years now, and he's still a kid. Like,
you forget how young he is.
I think he's gone up a level so far this season as well. He was quality. I'm not saying he wasn't quality last year, but watching him, I feel like he has gone up a notch this season so far. He's in fantastic form.
So far we're
very lucky to have him. And when he's come to your academy, you've got that extra sort of.
It's very different.
You know what I mean? It is special, and I think he's. I mean, look, I'm biased. I love Saka, and it warms my heart when you see those clips, like all the England camp, like players from other teams. You know, like
everyone loves him.
Luke Shaw, you know, Chelsea boys, everyone going. He is top drawer. He's just a lovely boy, nicest boy in the world. I think it was it Thierry Henry or I can't remember. It was an ex-player that was talking about Saka, saying that they talk a lot and they sort of hang out a little bit. And he said like Saka will come round, knock on the door, and he'll open the door, and Saka will still wait at the door to be invited in. Like he's really polite and just nice and humble. Like if you had a daughter, you'd be buzzing if she thought that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On that note, thank you very much, and bye bye, Ten Hag.